News Talk 640 WFNC. We're going to just get right into this thing right now because on the phone we have a legend, Earl Vaughan Jr. He's a member of the Fayetteville Sports Club, but just a legendary sports writer. Earl, are you on the phone with me right now?
I absolutely am, sir. Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, my apologies to you because things really got hectic yesterday because I forgot Doug Hewitt was coming in, and he always comes in every other week. And so he wasn't on the list, and I had you in at that slot, and I forgot to call you and tell you we had to move you at 8 o'clock. And so I appreciate your flexibility. We've been talking about the upcoming Fayetteville Sports Club inductee of the Hall of Fame inductees this year. There are five of them, and I had four of the five. I never was able to get David Colbreth on here, but you've been very instrumental in being involved with that program. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it started back in 2003. The sports club, which has been most capably and brilliantly led by our current leader, Mr. Greg Phillips. And we decided that we wanted to try to do something to honor the tremendous number of outstanding athletes and people affiliated with athletics in different ways. And so the sports club was created, and over the past 24 years now, this will be our 24th class. We, as of this year, will have grown to 119 inductees in the Hall of Fame. Our average class size is about five. We are growing on the Hall of Fame basis that when they get started, they try to get as many people in as they can. The problem with that is when you have a banquet or an honoring ceremony, you can't adequately honor a large group of them. So we've tried to keep the size of the class down. Mainly it's been classes of five. Occasionally we've bumped it up to six or seven, but for the most part we've tried to stick pretty close to that number of five so we can give everybody their fair share of time in the spotlight to give the proper amount of recognition.
And I have them on the screen right now. This is a podcast on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. The five inductees. You see David Colbreth,
Yes, sir.
Angela Angela Hill, Bernie Poole, and Jim Simple Jr., and one of my favorite, Buddy Martin. We had just a ball with Buddy when he came in here. I sent you that a podcast. What do you think about his interview? He's just a heck of a guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a very interesting person, and the Sox and Martin team was just absolutely dominated the sport of drag racing when they were at their peak. So yeah, he's got an amazing story to tell, and just an outstanding addition to our Hall of Fame.
If you're just joining me, Earl Vaughan Jr., and I need to put the junior on your name on your font here. I didn't put that there, but that's okay. We know it's you. You are a legend in your own right in terms of being involved with sports writing here in this area. I'm looking at your background here. A graduate of UNC Wilmington, 1976, summa cum laude. You've written for the town of Hope Mills, Up and Coming Weekly, a member of the Fayetteville Sports Club, NC High School Athletic Association, and George Whitfield Baseball Halls of Fame. Is that you in the Fames, or you've written for them?
No, that's me. Yeah, I'm a member of all three of those halls of fame, and tremendously honored to have been selected to all of them, and it's helped heighten my experience and appreciation for what it means to be recognized like this, and that's one reason I'm so glad to continue to be involved with the Sports Club Hall of Fame. I was also for a time on the selection committee for the NCHSAA Hall of Fame. And so I hope it's helping to broaden my experience and understanding of what it means to do this and how to try to do this in the proper way to make sure we're getting outstanding candidates and recognizing the people who are genuinely deserving of the honor.
You probably written about all these folks. Is that true? All five of them?
Everybody except I don't know that I wrote about Mr. Simple that much because he kind of I came in about the time he was stepping down was when I first got into my career of writing. I do recall meeting him and having some encounters with him brief, but yes, as far as the other four, absolutely. Well, with the exception of Mr. Martin because he was in auto racing and I wasn't that much involved with the auto racing part. My primary writing experience
Uh, and talk about Anita Hill. She was at E. E. Smith High School and outstanding basketball player.
Yes, yes, she was. Of course, she played for another Hall of Famer, the great coach Earl, who was president of it. And of course, she went on to an outstanding career at North Carolina A&T. She was the first player in A&T history to win the MEAC, that's their conference up there, Player of the Year award. And she also played on the first black team to participate in the Hall of Fame. So, yes, she had an absolutely outstanding career and was an outstanding addition to our Hall of Fame.
One thing that you provided for me was the entire list of folks who are in the Hall of Fame. 100, was it 119?
119, yes, sir, as of the class that will be coming in this year.
And I printed it out. And I made me a book of it. I've got it with me, and I was thumbing through it. I saw Ike Walker, who was at E. E. Smith High School. Nick Geralds, who played professional football. Do you remember? Was it New England that he played for? Do you remember that?
I can't remember the team, but yes, I do know he did have some time in the NFL.
Moose Butler is in there from Massey Hill.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows Moose.
Yeah.
Who sticks out in your mind as you think about the inductees over all the years?
Well, I look back to that first year and how hard it was because, as I said, your first year you're trying to get everybody in and you can't do it and you've got to make some limits. So that first class in 2003, I think, was still one of our strongest classes, which, of course, included the great D.T. Carter, longtime football coach at E. Smith, L.B. Floyd, and his son Raymond. We put both of them in at the same time because of their tremendous contributions, obviously, in the golf community. Doris Howard, who's one of the greatest coaches in Cumberland County history, had a great reputation as a softball coach, but also was an outstanding basketball coach as well. And then, of course, Calvin Kuntz, the great pitcher, who made it to the major leagues and was a member of the amazing Mets back in 1969 in their bullpen. And one of the most celebrated football players in Cumberland County, the great Doug Wilkerson, who played at E. Smith and had a lengthy career in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers. And I once interviewed his teammate, the great Dan Fouts, the quarterback, who's in the NFL Hall of Fame. And Mr. Fouts told me that if those Chargers had ever made it to a Super Bowl, that there is no doubt in his mind that Doug would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that was the only thing missing from his resume that kept him out of being a Hall of Fame inductee because he was a tremendous, tremendous player in the offensive line for the San Diego Chargers.
One thing I found in interviewing the 4 of the 5 who were going to be inducted. Well, I didn't. I talked to Jen Simple's son because the award is going to be posthumously entered for him because he's no longer with us. But in talking with the folks who are associated with this, a lot of pride in being selected into a Hall of Fame, and you think about what it means to them. So separated by so many years when they were young and vibrant in their sports. To have Buddy Martin come in here, sitting here at 90 years of age, just about. He'll be 90, I think, is it May or April? Is it?
It'll be April, mid-April.
Yeah. So to have these individuals look back towards high school, 16, 17 years old, just learning how to race cars, and then come up with these scenarios where, he said, I'm not going to be able to beat Jim Ronnie Sox, so I'm going to join him, and we formed this thing, and it becomes one of the best, stock car racing teams in the country. And now to celebrate that and visit back and look at some of the pictures that are associated with it, as you talk about the legacy of some of these folks, I'm going to bring up some of the pictures that we have of them as well.
Yeah, well, that's what the Hall of Fame is about, is to try to remember some of the great careers and recognize, some of the great careers that have taken place here in Cumberland County. We have obviously a tremendous pool of athletes to choose from, and we do appreciate hearing from the public, getting opportunities to nominate them and to put these names out here for us. And on that note, I just wanted to remind folks that if you do have someone that you think is deserving, look me up on social media. I'm available on just about all of the major platforms, You can find me on X, on Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And just find my profile on there. It's just under my name, Earl Vaughan Jr. Send me a message or whatever. Contact me, and I can give you the information on what the best way is to submit a nomination to get the information to us. Now, you can't just simply call us up and say, hey, so-and-so who played such and such back in 1942, should be considered. We're going to need more detail than that, and we ask the folks that actually submit the nomination to get us more detailed information about the person's career, that sort of thing. Now, please don't send us War and Peace. Try to keep things somewhat abbreviated. Maybe a couple of typewritten pages, possibly something like that. But there's no need to send a giant resume with everything that the person did. Try to focus on the highlights and get that to us so we can consider all the truly deserving candidates for this outstanding recognition.
Well, you're one of my champions. When you're writing for the Fayetteville Observer, I think I was at Channel 11 or Channel 5. It doesn't matter. But I read your stuff, and I'm going to put some pictures up on the board here on our podcast that you sent me of your involvement in this community. This one has the something purple, live gold, and there's a bunch of folks at a desk with you. What is that? Do you remember what that was?
That was a reunion of two great wrestling teams, high school wrestling teams. We were watching Jack Britt was wrestling for the state championship in its own gym, and the kids surrounding me there are members of Coach David Culberth's state championship wrestling team from some years earlier. And so they all came because their assistant coach, John DeWeese, was the head coach at Jack Britt at the time. And so they came out to encourage and support the Jack Britt team and Coach DeWeese. And so they all gathered around. That was my press table there at the end of the basketball court at Jack Britt, and that's what that was about.
And this is not all fun and games. There's a picture of you being dumped with a bunch of water. Did you win something? What in the world is that about?
No, that was back several years ago. They had the ALS people foundation. They had something called the Bucket Challenge, and what you did was you went out publicly somewhere and you got people to dump a bucket of water on you, and then you challenged people to contribute to the ALS Foundation, Lou Gehrig's disease. And so that's what that was all about, was to try to raise money to research and try to find a cure for this, most horrible of diseases. And so that was the Bucket Challenge back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that. It never happened to me. Two more pictures I want to share with you. This one is, looks like Curly's in the back seat of a car with you. Slightly. At least that's what it looks like. From the Three Stooges. Yeah. What is that about?
That was they offered a cutout. I bought it. I love to do crazy things like that. And it was a cutout of Curly that you could put in the window of your car and make it look like he's riding in the back seat of your car. So a dear friend of mine, the late Steve Aldridge, outstanding photographer for the Fayetteville Observer, he took that photograph of me sitting in the car with that cutout of Curly in the back window.
Man, you talk about Steve Aldridge. That was one heck of a photographer, and he knew everything about every car that was ever made. I know because I would be standing beside him somewhere waiting for the president to come, and next thing you know, that 1974 car there, that was the light heads. Okay, Steve, give me a break on the cars, but that's how he was. God rest his soul. What a great person. And I saved the best for last here. Here you are between what looks like two Dallas Cowboy cheerleader girls. What in the world?
That was one of the strangest, most interesting stories I ever did. Back when Channel 62 was down in Lumber Bridge, and they became a Fox network affiliate. And so to promote that and promote Fox getting the NFL broadcasts, they brought two Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders down to the mall in Lumberton and up here to Cross Creek Mall. Those two young ladies are Leslie Vitale and Shelley Bramhall, and they brought them to Belk's at Cross Creek Mall. And the funny thing about it was nobody else wanted to go out and do that story, and I said, well, heck, I'll do it. So I went out there. Yeah, and got a chance to meet them. They were both incredibly nice, extremely personable. And the funny thing about it is this is where the cheerleaders really make their money, is on personal trips like this. because they only get paid like $25 a game by the Cowboys. But they allow them to go out and make personal appearances like this, and this is where they can get, some extra income for that. So, but they were just both as nice as they could be, and I've still been in communication with Miss Bramhall. She's the brunette in the photograph, and but just both very lovely, wonderful people. And I tell you what, I've said this many years because there used to be I can't remember if it's still on or not, but there was a series on country music television called Bring It On, Making the Team, and it was about how the Cowboys picked their squad. And I promise you, making that cheerleading squad, I think, is more difficult than making a professional sports team, because they really have to jump through a lot of hoops. And so I was really impressed and really honored to get a chance to meet those two young ladies.
Well, I know personally because one of my daughters was a cheerleader for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you're right, they got paid zero, just about. So anyway, that's pretty neat. Well, look, Earl, we're not going to – one last thing we need to do, get you back on track here. Tuesday night, 6:30. This is going to happen at Fayetteville Technical Community College, the induction of 5 new members of the Fayetteville Sports Club Hall of Fame. And that's going to be in the Tony Rand building. People get tickets. What can they do?
Yeah, it's at 6 o'clock, not 6:30. It's at 6 p.m. They need to contact my dear friend, Miss Ashley Petrosky, and they need to do it today because, as you and I learned, Monday is a holiday, and Ashley works in an office that's going to be closed on Monday, so you will not be able to contact her. And you do not need to wait until Tuesday, or you definitely should not wait to try to buy a ticket at the door, because they are selling very fast, and there's a strong possibility if you show up to buy one at the door on Tuesday, they're going to have to turn you away because it's going to be sold out. But you need to contact Ashley at 910-323-9195. I'll say that again, 910-323-9195. If you can't write that down, it's the Nobles Pound Financial Office, and the tickets are $65 per person. And one thing I want to quickly mention that we hadn't gotten to today, Derek Quittenberg of the 1983 NC State National Champion NC State basketball team is scheduled to be at the banquet Tuesday. So you definitely want to get out there, not only for the inductees, but for a chance to see him as well.
That's right. Did he hit the winning goal that won a national championship? Winberg, was that him?
No, actually, he was the one that made the pass to the guy.
That's right. Okay, I knew he was involved.
He was very much a part of it, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Earl, look, dear friend, and I'm glad we had a chance to get you on here. Sorry about the confusion this morning, but we're going to be all rooting for everybody coming out for the induction of the Hall of Fame here that's going to be happening Tuesday night. Hey, Kenny, we're going to skip the news, and we're going to just go into the break because we got Lieutenant Mickey Locklear sitting here ready to go in just a few seconds. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.